Let's go with this one first. It's pretty obvious what this is. It's a sword, and it is a very functional sword. It's also not sharp at all, but it has some weight to it. So let me ask you what your name is.
Andrew.
Andrew? Well, your teacher Andrew's looking at me right now while I'm showing this, and I'm going to swing this sword at Andrew. He's not going to be very happy, because if I were to hit him on the shoulder, it would probably break his shoulder or maybe his collarbone. Now, I want you to look carefully also on this. There's a groove down this sword. That's called a blood groove. Now, you won't be able to see this on the camera, but I'm going to stick this sword in Andrew's under his arm. We're not going to hurt him. And if I did stick this under his arm, because it has that blood groove, it comes out very easily. Now, if I take another sword that does not have this blood groove in there, when I stick this in Andrew, it ain't coming out very easy. So I'm going to have to put my foot on his chest and then pull on it. And when I pull it out, there's kibbles and bits coming out with it. Not a pretty sight. But if you're in a battle, you want to be able to get that sword out quick, because if you're having to fight with it, somebody's after you in the meantime. We've got some tomahawks here that we can show as well. These are kind of fancy looking things, and officers might have carried these around to trade with the Indians. We've got, they're also functional peace pipes too. I'm sorry. This is one too, they call it a mouse hawk. Now, it works as a peace pipe as well. It doesn't look like it could do some damage, but if you hit somebody with that in the right spot, it will. This is called a powder horn. This powder horn my dad used during the French and Indian War. He and I have the same name. Now if you look on the other side as well, I don't know how well that'll show up there, but you can see a map on there. There's the Mississippi River, the Wabash, the Ohio, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron. You know, in case I ever get lost, I know which. Oh, it's hard to say. I know where to go, because many people have told me where to go. So. Let's look at this a minute. This is a Flintlock pistol. It's a smooth bore, meaning that there's no grooves inside here. So when that ball comes out, it could go any which way. Last thing it hits is going the opposite direction. Now, this is a piece of steel here. And there's a piece of flint right here. It's in the half-cock position. Now, I'm sure, I don't know whether you kids know this or not, there's an old saying about going off half-cocked. There it is. And if you go out and buy something, you buy it lock, stock, and barrel. It means you're getting everything. That's where some of these old sayings come through. Now, I don't know how well it will show up there, but inside, this is called a pan right here. And inside there's a small hole inside there. So when I put powder in here, it's going to go through there and set the fire off inside. So let's watch this just a minute. We're going back to the powder horn again.
People see it to do this. Well, if we're doing what you would like to do, then
we're going to take some black powder. We're going to pour it in here.
We met a gentleman who's still here. He's down there at the camp just across from where the cannons are, and this was 27 years ago. And,
put that so we don't lose any moisture in there, because once that gets moisture in it doesn't work very well. Now we're going to close this pan here. The reason being, that way we could walk along like this, the powder never falls out. Next thing we would do, we'd pour powder down inside the barrel. Then you're going to put a patch on there, and then you're going to take a ball and you're going to ram that down in there nice and tight so you get a good seal. Now remember, it's in the half-cock position, so it's not going to shoot. So let's cock it now when we're all loaded. So you kids watching, hold your ears. Here goes. Ready? So when that goes off like that, it goes through and sets the fire off inside, which causes the powder inside to burn and sends a projectile out. There's probably some of your kids that carry backpacks to school, right? This is my backpack, made out of deer hide. And you might keep food, shirts, extra ammunition, whatever you need while you're traversing the countryside.
Keeps the dishes and the silverware, and the dish towels and things like that. And it's a chair.
This one is called a haversack.
Functional, yes.
Now if you'll notice,
So my
it's
son, and we hide all
just
the
that.
stuff
It's a
like
place to store stuff on the inside.
They would have.
And all the fur is all facing the same way. That way if it rains, the water just falls off. Again, this is called a haversack. Today you might call it a man purse, but it's not in my time.
When we really started, when he was not, we really got started. He was he's 35 now, and he's a federal.
Of course, you got a dining fly, and that's pretty much it, my friend.